Hello, everybody, and welcome to, I guess, what's technically episode 2 of our Walking Dead podcast, but it's actually covering episode 1. Interesting how that works. If you didn't see last week's episode, we basically talked about our predictions for the season, kind of had a death pool. What else did we talk about?
We recapped the whole season and we talked
Right.
about what might happen. We talked about a possible Negan series on his own. Uh, that was about
So,
it.
yeah. So, with all that in mind, I'm Alec.
I'm Dale.
And unfortunately, CJ could not be with us tonight. We had some scheduling conflicts with the episode dropping online because we don't have cable here, CJ and I, but we rely on like the AMC website. We couldn't get it to work, unfortunately. But now that we've got it, it's a little bit late. But next week we'll try to be way more punctual. So with that being said, where are we starting off, Dale?
Uh, you know, I'd like to talk about how Rick managed to attack the sanctuary in such a way that nobody actually ended up dying.
Interesting, but there were a lot of implied deaths, I guess, with the whole Negan being trapped at the end. Now, before we get in too far, spoiler alert. If you haven't watched the episode, go watch the episode first. Come on back. We're going to be covering what happened, what we thought about it, all that stuff. So, with that being said, I think that Rick's plan was awesome. I really liked the armor on the cars to give them cover. Is almost like a mobile fortress that they have built, and I thought it was really cool. I didn't expect it, for sure, but with the Walker horde and the like I said, with the cars and all the people, like it was a really clearly very well thought out plan, and it seemed to go down pretty well. Nobody on Rick's side, nobody on our side, quote unquote, died from it. So that's good. The show of a good plan.
I think it should be mentioned this is phase one.
Yeah, and they said it at the beginning too. That's what is so cool about it is that I think that it might have been Rick's plan to not even kill Negan, but to trap him.
Right, except for that bit with the dumpster is he had the opportunity. If he died, he died, but that wasn't really the
Yeah,
plan.
right. But what I think was really cool is that it almost shows back to episode 1 of last season where Negan trapped Rick with all the zombies and all the walkers and was like breaking him down. And I think that might be what Rick's trying to replicate with this phase 1.
Interesting. I
And
think so.
yeah, go ahead.
It seems to me that phase one is to put the sanctuary in a bubble so that
Okay.
it's surrounded by walkers. They can't do much. They have a walker horde to deal with. Now Rick and the gang are going after the outposts.
Now I'm thinking that might have had something to do too. Another callback to when the Walker horde invaded Alexandria, and how much of a struggle that was for them to deal with.
Right, they know what it takes or what it had to take to get rid of those, and it was
Right.
not. It was not easy.
And I think that was kind of part of Rick's plan too, when he said, when Negan said, "Do you have the numbers to take care of this fight?" And Rick just wasn't even worried because he knows that people will die to the Walker horde, or at least he's expecting it.
I actually you say that I think it's kind of funny. Do you have the numbers? Rick's bringing a Walker army.
Yeah, no kidding. I really liked it though. I thought it was a good way to kick off the season for sure.
Yeah, they brought the punch with the armored RV.
Yeah, with the explosion.
Yeah, that was not quite expected. Although they had two car bombs in the episode.
Yeah, I mean, but it also seemed to draw in the walkers too, which it's such an intricate plan too. It's so cool to watch it all unfold. So at the end of that episode, though, we had Preacher Man being being a little bit too kind to Gregory.
Yeah.
And showing him a little bit of mercy, being the name of the episode. But, yeah, I mean, what did you think about that move of him?
He's looking at him. I knew right away. He's like, oh my god, he's going to save him. Was not really expecting Gregory to take the car and leave Gabriel.
I totally was, and I saw it coming, and I was mad.
Well, like partway through, I saw
Gabriel.
it coming. It's like, really, are you really gonna do that?
I'm so mad, but then I thought about it, and I was like, well, Gregory doesn't know how much of a piece of shit that he really is.
True.
Like,
but like, what is his plan now? Like, where is he gonna go? If he goes back to the hilltop,
I don't know.
They'll probably just kill him. There's no way
Right.
they just let him just leave and go to nowhere and just write him out that way. Like, he's still going to have a story.
Sanctuary, yeah, if he goes to Sanctuary, he's going to get killed too.
Well, I mean, he's leaving the Sanctuary that's now surrounded by walkers.
Well, but if he tries to meet back up with that group, there's no way. I mean, he's a weasel, but I don't think they're going to tolerate that.
No. Pretty sure Simon's just going to end him if he shows back up.
I'm surprised that none of the what do they call them? The admirals,
the
Not
lieutenants.
Admirals. Lieutenants. Yeah, I'm surprised nobody died.
Yeah,
I don't know where we didn't really get to see them run away. Like we heard all the gunfire and stuff. I wish I would have seen more what happened.
It seemed, if I remember correctly, as soon as Rick starts firing after his shallow countdown, it kind of showed them all ducking back inside.
Yeah. But now they have the Walker Horde, which was all part of the plan. I like it. I like it a lot. You know, looping back to that. I thought it was cool. So what else happened in the episode that you were mentioning that we should talk about?
So it kind of opens up, well, it doesn't really open up with, but there's a scene in there where Carl is almost recreating the very first scene of The Walking Dead, where Greg's at a gas station looking for gas, and he comes across some walkers or whatever. Like, I thought the callback was pretty cool, but it didn't really fit in the episode. Do you feel that way?
I think that it shows how Carl is kind of following in Rick's footsteps, and it brings a light to Carl becoming the next leader. Or, you know, even at the end of the episode when Michonne said, "What do we do?" Or not in the end, but, you know, when everyone goes off to take on Sanctuary, Michonne turns to Carl and says, "What's the plan?" And I think that they're trying to move him into a higher position of authority and maybe make him into the leader that Rick is.
True, I like that idea.
Because it shows that because Carl has the wrath, you know, and as the episode ended, it ended with the quote by Rick saying, "May my mercy prevail over my wrath," and it shows kind of Carl having the wrathful side in the previous episodes, being, you know, a hot-headed kid. I mean, when he's not in a coma, that is, but he's always quick to fight. But
yeah,
then it shows him turning over and.
I was rewatching the end of the last season, and right after Shiva comes in and creates a little distraction, Carl's the first one to shoot somebody. He's the first one to see that opportunity.
He's quick to fight. He really is. And I think it shows almost a balance, because Rick does have such a good balance, a strong balance of wrath and mercy, which is important for a leader in this kind of situation. But it almost shows that Carl's taking on that position of, you know, I know who to fight and I know who I should help.
Yeah, this older Carl, I know he is represented older in the show now than he is in the books, but he's really equipped for this thing.
He was in the thick of it at a very young age, and it shows that he has the ideas of a strong leader to get through it. So there was also some jumping there was actually jumping was incredibly prevalent. There was a lot of, because at the beginning it was like Carl at the gas station and then Carl at the end when he's giving the dude the food.
Right.
And then they had all the stuff with Rick.
They had old Rick. They had other Ricks that we really couldn't tell whether it was like a past Rick or a possible future Rick or what was going on.
Yeah. And there was also the flashes in between when they were doing the plan, taking out the outpost to back, managing the horde and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It was jumpy storytelling for sure. What did you think about it?
It was kind of hard to follow, much in the sense that the last episode of the season they were jumping around with Sasha talking to Abraham before they head off with Maggie to the hilltop, and then they end up getting caught and the lineup happens.
Right.
But I didn't really like it. It's hard to follow. I would have rather them just gone in with the rally. We're pumped for what's about to happen. And then
it flashes
they do
back
it
to the walker, and I could see it being like when they lead in with the rally, and then during parts of them navigating the walker horde, you hear like gunshots in the distance when they're close and stuff like that, or you see the explosion happen, and it kind of lines up in your head that way.
Yeah, I know when Daryl's leading them on after like the last barrel or so that he shoots, you can hear gunfire in the background,
which was cool. I just think that I agree. I think it was hard to follow, and CJ said the exact same thing when we watched it. He was like, I don't get what's up with all these flash forwards and backwards. I can't follow it.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, maybe if they would have done a better job of it showing current Rick thinking about his possible future and what he'd like to see.
Well, I think it was very clear with the old man Rick that was the future that he wanted, based on the kind of like bloom effect around the images when you're watching it, like around the video. It kind of shows like this idealized, like angelic kind of, this is the best case scenario, is I'm living at home with Michonne, and Judith is there, and Carl's there, and we're having a festival and just normal life. Right. And I think that's very evident, just based on like the camera effects, and also that you see Rick kind of like waking up almost in a coma, like he did in that original episode with the flowers next to his bed and stuff. And I kind of got that impression from it. But then it shows that it's not like he's waking up in hell; he's waking up in heaven.
Right. Could it actually be him waking up in heaven?
It could be. That's what's so interesting about it. And it could be totally going off on that. And then the flash forward Rick, where he's got the red eyes, the crazy kind of look in his eyes, like he's totally boned, as he has many a time. Like that episode when they did the lineup, where he's got just the terror face.
Yeah.
I was expecting that to be how the episode ended. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it was giving vibes of, like, throughout it, it's like, does this plan not work? Does Negan absolutely destroy Rick in this fight?
Well, and then I saw what happened, and I was like, well, clearly it did work. Phase 1 clearly did work. It did what it was meant to do. So, what's the flash forward, or possibly flash back to when he said, the quote, "The may my mercy prevail over wrath." It's just an interesting concept. I also really liked how Rick not directly moving in out of the plan to kill Negan towards the end of the episode after the RV exploded and stuff. I think that does show his mercy, because a crazy Rick would have just marched right up to him.
Yeah, and then fought his way out of the walkers, not caring if he made it or not. Yeah, and then fought his
way out. Well, I thought it was stupid that they, who was it? Gabriel came up and was like, "Hey, Rick, we gotta go." And then they, like, dick around for, like, a couple of minutes and then leave. Okay, you totally could have went and killed him.
I guess, but, I mean, if he goes up and moves in on him, then it's a problem of getting out.
We also don't see the other side of the fight. If there are people in Sanctuary fighting back or shooting back.
True.
Now we also, this is totally not on the list, but when was the last time we've seen the wolves? Do you think they're still around?
The wolves, their storyline is probably done.
You think so?
I think so.
What if it's Gabriel goes to the wolves? Huh?
For what purpose?
I don't, just to running away from Sanctuary and Rick's group, and now the Hilltop and the Kingdom.
Yeah, I imagine the wolf storyline is done. Their presumed leader, his storyline came to a close with him kind of changing his ways and giving himself up for whoever that was.
Right. That could be interesting, though, if they came back. What about the trash people? Or the dumpster... What do we call them?
The trash holes?
The trash holes, yeah.
They'll be dealt with. However, I did notice in the episode, as Gabriel's pulling Rick away, he snaps a photo of the disaster.
Yeah.
With Negan. I was reading online of some thoughts about that, and there's a possibility he's gonna show the trash people what he can do and get them to change sides again, because they just go with the strength. If Negan's not strong and they don't see him as strong anymore, then they could still switch sides.
I took it totally different, which is interesting. The way I saw the picture was kind of like when they infiltrated the first original stronghold with Negan, and they went into the room.
Yes,
and the guy had all of the pictures.
And they did it of Glenn too.
That he killed. And to me, because Rick knows he's not dead, at least not yet, and it seemed to me he was like, this was him last seen, just as a reminder almost to go through with it and finish it. It was an interesting moment, one that I definitely didn't see coming. It's totally something totally new. I don't think I've seen anybody really take a picture in the entire franchise.
That would be incorrect, because Glenn takes a photo of Maggie, I think.
Glenn has a photo of Maggie. Oh, maybe he did take... Oh, you know what? It was totally a Polaroid, too. I wonder if it's the same camera.
Oh, it could be.
They like to do things like that, where they keep props and whatnot and reuse them. So it could be. That'd be interesting.
I mean, we'll probably never know, but it could be.
Who knows? Who knows? Because Polaroids don't work like regular cameras. You can't look back on what happened. For anybody who doesn't know what a Polaroid is, it's kind of an old camera. It's probably outdated by the time we even were old enough to use a camera, really.
Maybe. Probably around the time we were born or so.
Well, moving from that, we have... so the end of the episode, where Gabriel and douchebag Gregory have their little run-in, and Gregory runs away. So then we hear the infamous, I hope you're wearing your shitting pants. What did you think about that?
That was like, okay, now we've got these two characters crossing the paths. We've got the priest that's been very merciful. He's had his story change. He's a very dynamic character, and then Negan, a pissed off Negan.
Oh, he's definitely pissed, but he keeps that humor. That's what's so great about Negan.
Right, but like, okay, first of all, Gabriel has a gun.
I was totally saying that after the episode. I'd say I don't give a shit if I die in this Walker hole if I kill Negan.
Right.
That's, what we came for. I totally would have shot him.
Something tells 100%. Me he's going to be out of ammo, or Negan's just going to take the gun right away.
But, like, as soon as I heard, I hope you're wearing your shitting pants, that would have been, like, turn and shoot into the cabin.
Yeah.
But it is Gabriel, so I guess we have to let him off the chain for being the priest.
I guess.
I totally forgot about...
I don't think he wants to be the one to kill Negan anyway. then he won't
That
be.
is true. At the beginning of the episode, Rick did say there's a ton of them, and we only one needs to die, and I got that.
Right. That's
Which I also thought was a really good line for Rick, because it almost shows him taking the responsibility, like it's blood on my hands. Because as leader, you kind of have the responsibility of the people you lost along the way kind of on your shoulders already. Like, I think he definitely feels responsible for Abraham and Glenn at the beginning of last season, because it was his idea to take on the Saviors, not knowing what he really got himself into.
Right. So what is going to happen with Negan and Gabriel? What is going to happen inside of that trailer?
I think we won't find out for a couple of episodes.
I think that might be the case, too.
I think that it's just going to totally ignore... I think it's going to do like a Glenn thing where it's like, well, now that you know where they are, we'll cut back to that in a few episodes and show you what happened.
Right.
And it'll be very brief. But I think Negan's going to try to persuade Gabriel. He is kind of a manipulative guy. And I think he's going to try to persuade him over to his side and maybe get some intel on Rick.
True. If you think about it, there was a time in Alexandria where Gabriel goes to Deanna and tells her Rick is not a good person and he's going to get you all killed. So,
Which
Gabriel, I mean, he is dynamic. He has changed. But
he's definitely
still
not
could
like
fall
that
back
anymore.
To that
but yeah, but it's possible. I think the difference now being that he really has learned from Rick this strength to carry on, and I think that's the biggest change in his arc, is that he's changed from I don't want to kill anybody, I don't want to hurt anybody, to this is something that we need to do to get along. So I don't know.
I don't think either one of them are going to kill each other inside of the trailer. I think Gabriel will be a prisoner.
I could see Negan torturing.
I wouldn't say... I don't think he's going to torture him. But I could definitely see him just being a prisoner for a while.
Of course, Negan doesn't know that this is only phase 1.
That is also true.
Gabriel does, but Negan does not. Now, it's also possible that part of Rick's plan is to just not ever deal with those walkers in the middle of Sanctuary.
Oh, absolutely.
Could just be like, leave them there.
Oh, he's going to leave them there. He's going to go
absolutely
take out all the other saviors because they're weaker without, the hub.
Right.
And then...
the ones that are out and about. And...
yeah, I mean, he's going to go outpost to outpost, which I think we saw the beginning of that at the end of the episode with Carol and Morgan. He's taken out a lot of lookouts and things. He's weak. He's kind of...
he's destroying the structure of which
I'm trying to think of
saviors stand on.
I'm trying to think of the military plan. For the Civil War, they worked their way outside and then just...
worked in.
The like an anaconda, it just chokes them. Just squeezing until it's... the Sanctuary is the only thing that's left. They're dealing with walkers, and they have to surrender.
Right. That's a really good analogy, actually. I like that. So, we talked about it last episode. What do you think the odds are that we see Negan's story unfold before the apocalypse sometime soon?
I think that will be a part of the trailer scene with him and Gabriel. I think Gabriel's going to get him to open up about why he is the way he is.
That could be... actually, that could be cool. Now, how soon do you think that'll happen?
Probably in a couple of episodes.
I'm hoping that it's either next episode or the one after. It's possible that next episode does show kind of the anaconda effect, where they're going to outpost.
I have a feeling that's going to be phase 2. They're going to show phase 2. I'm not sure. So let's say we've got to show phase 2 of the anaconda effect. We've got to show trailer and hopefully Negan's backstory. And we've got to show how they deal with the trash people. right? Those are
I
three
suppose
things
I
that
thought
have
it
to
was.
happen that could all come next.
So this is kind of this is back a little wise. I meant to touch on it. I thought it was interesting when the lieutenants came out. We didn't see Jadis, of like the leader of the trash holes.
Oh, well, she's at the heap, not with the sanctuary.
But how do you like?
She's not a
But
savior.
right, but if she's truly still working with them, then you would think she'd be there.
No, because she's off controlling and managing her own thing and not being with the sanctuary and Negan.
I don't know. I think it shows that they're not really together. They were just there on that like
It's a
little
partnership.
sting. Yeah, not a.
Honestly, it's
But
more of a business partnership than anything because there was some sort of trade deal that, you know,
clearly better than Rick's.
yeah, you know, you fight with us against Rick, and we'll trade you things or whatever.
How long before Negan tries to take him over, though? Who knows? That's kind of the thing that they have to deal with. We don't really care about them. We don't like the trash holes.
Right. It could be a thing where the sanctuary gets pretty beat up even more, and Negan retreats to the trash people.
That is true.
That could also happen.
That could totally happen. But then Negan has no bargaining power. So, what would be cool is if the trash people sided with Rick, and when Negan approaches them, Rick kind of comes out.
He's like, oh, they're mine now.
Yeah. I owned them. Pop. The signature wincing right eye gun down to the forehead. Pop him. But just to wrap it up here, let's talk about the death pool that we made last time.
Right. I think the biggest thing with that is that you thought Gregory was going to die in episode 1, and I'll give you props. It was close, but it did not happen.
I know. I wish it did, though. If only Gabriel was not such a nice guy. You know? I could have been right.
Could have been.
But
and
unfortunately...
you also have Gabriel on your list, which might happen in the next few episodes, too.
Well, when Gabriel got out of the car to help him, I was like, hell yeah. I just got double right. Double kill. We'll see what Gabriel turns into. He's such a dynamic character, but we still don't really know a lot about his backstory, besides that he was a priest and that he locked people out of the church.
True.
I don't think that they're done with his arc. But I still think he could die because I don't know. I think that there's more that could be told, but it's just whether or not they want to tell it.
Yeah, it could be, or the end of the end of his arc could be him growing to this stronger character, and then still showing douchebag Gregory this mercy and him paying for it. That could also be something that happens.
I mean, he's paying for it right now, locked in a trailer with Negan, surrounded by zombies.
Yeah. I mean,
it could be, you know what though? This could be the last straw where he's like, you know what? I'm tired of being nice to people because every time I show mercy, I die or I get, I put myself in a more harrowing situation than I would have been in.
Or maybe the analogy, or not really an analogy, but he locked all of his parishioners out of his church. He wasn't merciful to them. He survived. He's merciful to Gregory. He's in a tough spot now. Trying to think of some other scenarios that have happened with him. Can't think of anything off the top of my head, but
it seems like no matter how far his character goes, it's always, I'm gonna help somebody. Now I'm in a shit spot. But it just seems to be a theme kind of going with him.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I don't know. He also might have the choice if he. I mean. And of all things, he's still the one with the gun. Negan is at his mercy right now.
Well, unless he gets close.
That too.
Because Negan's got a big old bat.
I mean, Negan might very well just take it out of his hand.
That's very true, and Gabriel would probably let him and say, yes, sir, don't hurt me. Well, I think that pretty much covers the episode, don't you think?
Yeah, no, I just had a weird thought. What if Negan kills Gabriel, lets him turn, cuts up his body, and walks out of the walker herd?
Oh my god.
That's
a good prediction.
That would be messed
I like
up.
that.
I like the out of the box thinking for that, but I don't think it's likely. But that would be something else.
He's got the bat to make the paste.
No, he's got to make sure he turns though. He can't pull a Glenn on him.
Right. All right. Well, I think that's all we got for this week. If you didn't check out the episode and you're watching this, what are you doing? Go check out that episode. I know it's on AMC right now, probably somewhere else if you DVR'd it. Check it out for sure. If you liked our Walking Dead analysis, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want to see this podcast and more podcasts like it, you can hit the subscribe button and leave your comments down below. What you thought about what we talked about. We talked about Rick's plan, Gregory. We talked about Carl. The throwbacks, the jumping around, and the Negan Gabriel, and the Negan story potentially coming out, hopefully in like 2 weeks. I don't know. I want to see it. I don't want to wait that long. But yeah, leave your comments down below, and we'll check you next week.
Throw in your predictions for next episode. Tell us you think might die.
Yeah. Leave it down below. We'll start you in the death pool for sure. All right.
I think that's it. See you next week.